favorite subject, that's PC football. I see former Mayor Mr. Miller here. Good to see you. And Dr. Elliott, one of my good friends and my neighbors down here in Clinton. All roads lead to Clinton, they say. And sure enjoyed your prayer tonight, or this afternoon. Want to congratulate all the players that are here and all the coaches that invest so much time in these players. And such a great organization like you guys have down here in Orangeburg. I get a chance to go all over the state and talk to different touchdown clubs around the state. You guys do it as good as anybody. Celebrating football, we couldn't do it without the sponsors that you guys have. Be able to come and meet up every week and talk about high school football and college football. It's the greatest time of the year. And I'm so glad to be down here and be a part of it with you. I know, man, Mr. Nichols here, he's got his PC shirt on, looks awful good. One of the greatest tennis players that ever played tennis there at Presbyterian College. He gets better as the years go on, I'm sure. So good to see him. No doubt about it. You know, as Coach Pugh was mentioning, our schedule, we do have a very difficult schedule this year. They must think I'm an awful good football coach. We opened up the year up in Northern Illinois, up in Chicago, which is a MAC team in the Mid-American Conference up there. And unbeknownst to me, started doing some research on Northern Illinois. You know, they've won more FBS football games since 2010 than any other team in the country other than Oregon. Didn't know that before we scheduled. They've been to 7 straight bowl games. That's where Jordan Lynch, the Heisman Trophy candidate, graduated from there at Northern Illinois. Outstanding football team. Quite a challenge. We go up there, and you know, obviously a big, fast, strong football team. We actually played pretty well, believe it or not, at times. Beautiful day, great trip, sunny, nothing but cornfields, just on the west side of Chicago there. And I'm the luckiest man in the world. You know, they're a really tough, physical football team, running football team, and they play really fast. It forces you to get lined up and play fast on defense. And sure enough, you know, the only chance really we had to move the football on was kind of get on the perimeter a little bit, kind of do some smoke and mirrors. And about that time, the skies opened up and it started raining in buckets. So here we are on the turf, hostile environment, and adverse weather conditions on the road. So that's kind of how we started the season up there on a Thursday night. And you know, and I told people, I said, Northern Illinois is a lot better than what people think. And sure enough, they went into Chicago the next week and beat Northwestern by 2 touchdowns at their place. And they've beaten Purdue and they've beaten Iowa in October the year before on the way to playing in the San Diego Bowl last year. So outstanding opponent, no doubt. We come home, we've got lights for the first time since 1990 in Bailey Stadium. Back when I was playing in the late 80s, we had great atmosphere. Coach Tally Galt, our legend of a coach that we've gotten down there, such a special person. We had about 300 former players come back our first night home game and had a big celebration for him. And we had a great night, beat a Bluefield team, which we should have. They're an NAIA team, and credit goes to our kids who did what we needed to do to win the football game in great fashion. The next week we host Furman. Furman is a team that PC has not beaten since 1979, in 35 years. And they came in ranked number 12th in the country. They had beaten Gardner-Webb the week before. They were 2-0 coming into our game. Really a really tough opponent, like Coach Pugh said, a very, very good on defense. And we had an hour-and-a-half rain delay or lightning delay in the game. It was kind of a unique game that night. Televised the game on my 40 up there in the upstate. I think they were showing I Love Lucy reruns during the rain delay. But we finally got to kick it off a little bit and had a great victory for our football program. And very excited about that win. Couldn't stop smiling there for about 24 hours, and I started watching the film at North Carolina State, and my smile turned to a frown real quick. Went and played a really tough North Carolina State team this past week up in Raleigh, an improved North Carolina State team. They've got a transfer quarterback from Florida, a kid by the name of Jacoby Brissett. And it was actually a one-score game. We were down 7-0 with about 4 minutes to go in the second quarter. And moved the football at the time of possession, which you got to try to shorten the game a little bit when you play teams like that. And, we ended up turning the ball over, made a short field for them. But I saw the quarterback for North Carolina State do something I had never seen before for 27 years of coaching. He's a big, tall dude, about 6'6", 240 pounds. He's got a really strong arm. And he threw the ball. He had his back foot on his own 28-yard line. And he threw the ball the length of the field. It landed 5 yards into the end zone. I had never seen a kid throw a ball 75 or 80 yards in the air, but I sure saw it that day. And I got proof of it on film. I had to go back and look at it, make sure I was seeing what I thought I saw. But they ended up getting out on us a little bit and ended up losing the football game. So we're 2-2 right now with 2 FBS losses. Like Coach Pugh said, it's kind of the landscape of FCS football. You got to kind of pay some bills and pay for the lights and infrastructure improvements and scholarships and budgets. And that's just kind of what you got to do at this level a little bit. I've played 14 1As guarantee games since I've been the head coach at PC. Sometimes it reminds me of the 2 generals, Coach Pugh, the German general and the Italian general. The German general was leading his people into battle, and he said, Wolfgang, bring me my red coat, so if I get shot as I'm leading my players into my infantry into battle, if I get shot, it'll hide the blood, and I'll be able to inspire my troops. The Italian general says, Luigi, bring me my brown pants. So for me, I'm more like the Italian general. That's one of my favorites. Bring greetings from Dr. Claude Lilly, our president, Brian Reeves, our athletic director. Very proud of a young man by the name of Justin Bethel, who is playing for the Arizona Cardinals, was an NFL draft pick 3 years ago. He's playing a lot in the nickel for Arizona. He's a great young man and made the Pro Bowl last year. And our athletic director actually got to go out to Hawaii. I don't know why I didn't get to go, but he went. But went to Hawaii to go watch Justin play in the Pro Bowl. And an outstanding young man. I want to talk to you. A lot of times when you make the transition like we did, and I worry about a lot of things. I worry about my kids. I've got 114 players on my team. And I worry all the time. I do. This has been quite the journey that we've been on. And coming in 2009 and haven't won as many games as what I would have liked, obviously. It's tough, going through this process that we've just gone through. And I really felt like at the end of the day, I felt like pointing towards this year, I thought we would make the turn. And I think we started to do that. Really like this football team that we've got. We've got great chemistry and great leadership. But it's been quite the journey. And, this is not a patient society that we're in now. Everything's in now. We've got cell phones and 350 channels on cable television, and everything's instant. And this what we've just gone through and what we are going through is anything but instant. And it's a process that we've gone through. So patience is sometimes gets a workout. And one of my favorite sayings, a lot of times this happens to me, is patience gets a workout when God's answer is a no answer. In other words, God's answer isn't always yes, it isn't always no, but sometimes it just says not now, and be still. And that's something that I've got a little note card written on my desk right there, and I look at that an awful lot because it has tested my patience, no question. But I've got more resolve now, being the head football coach of my alma mater. I've got the greatest job in America. I do. I get a chance to come to work every day and be around some of the greatest kids you've ever seen in your life. And people say, well, Coach, how do you keep your kids up playing in games like that, knowing it's uphill and the challenges that you face? How do you do that? I get my resolve from those players back there in that locker room, because I'm going to tell you what, I put them on the bus. I don't care where we end up. They'll put all 4 points and buckle them up and go out there and play and represent our program in the right way. I've got the best job in America, and I get a chance to coach some of the greatest kids in America. And that's where I get my resolve from. That's how I do it. It's nothing that I do. It's absolutely nothing that I do. it's a resolve that those kids have. And that's where I get my inspiration from. And something, you talk about the power of influence, a lot of us have powers of influence. Coaches, these high school coaches are some of the most influential and powerful people in the world because they get a chance to be with these young people every day. Everybody has a platform. And you know, you talk about the power of influence that I get from my young men in that locker room. And that's where I get my strength from. It is. And it's starting to pay off now. So we're starting to turn the corner here, and I really like this football team and like where we're headed. I'll tell you a little bit of the story. This past spring, I'm going to have to be honest with you, I was really feeling sorry for myself a little bit. You ever have those days where these coaches know exactly what I'm talking about? You know, you and some of the businesses you guys are involved in, you know, just one of those days where it just seems like you've just been putting out fires all day. And, you know, everything that's gone wrong, could go wrong. You're sitting in your office and you're saying, Lord, what did I do to deserve all this? Well, that happened to me this past spring one day. I had a young man walk into my office. Now, this is the last person I thought that I would see walk into my office this particular day. It's a young man by the name of Jamie Moore. And Jamie was I coached Jamie in 1990. It was my first year in coaching. And back then, Coach Nichols of 1990, I had all the answers and didn't even know any of the questions at the time. And I knew it all. All right, I had it all figured out in 1990. I did. I was 22 years old, just graduated from college, just started my coaching career there. And we had this little 175-pound walk-on offensive lineman from Clinton High School named Jamie Moore. And Jamie was probably the worst football player I've seen in 27 years. He was terrible, all right? He was stiff, couldn't run, he was short, undersized. But Jamie had a big heart, a huge heart in his chest. And for whatever reason, me and him kind of connected. We moved him to fullback. Figured he'd have a little bit better of a chance of playing at fullback than he was at offensive guard at that weight. And for whatever reason, I just coached the tar out of him. I did. I pushed him in the weight room, and he just responded every time. And just loved to be coached, and loved the attention of it, loved being a part of the team. Great attitude. And it's been a while since I had seen him. He had come back and see some of his relatives there in Clinton, and he walked into my office, and remember now, I'm feeling really sorry for myself this day. And so Jamie comes up to me and goes, Coach, you know, I just wanted to come by and thank you for all that you did for me. Now, I was only with him for about 2 years, because I left and went to Georgia Southern as an assistant. He finished up there and graduated from PC, but he was just thanking me for the experience that he had. Really, all I was doing was just kind of pouring into him what all those coaches that I had in high school and college had poured into me, and you know, modeled the behaviors that they had given to me, paying it forward, as you say. And he said, Coach, you know, you just were such an inspiration to me, and appreciate all the time that you spent with me. I said, well, Jamie, what have you been doing with yourself? He said, well, you know, Coach, I'm glad you asked. You know, I'm in the Marine Corps now. And I said, really? Because Jamie was kind of jacked up now. You know, he's got big pipes on him. He had a crew cut, walked real straight. And he said, you know, Coach, when I graduated from PC, he goes, got married, met a girl, moved to Greenville, started selling cars, put on a bunch of weight. I got up to about 280, 290 pounds. Really wasn't feeling good about myself or what I was doing. And I went to my wife one day and I said, you know, I want to join the Marine Corps. And she looked at me and goes, you want to do what? He said, yeah, I want to join the Marine Corps. So 8 months, he went on a diet, worked out every day, lost 80 pounds, went down to the recruiting center of the Marine Corps, signed up, and went in and joined the Marine Corps. Well, he's a Bronze Star winner. All right, been in the Marine Corps now for 14 years. He's telling me a story here, and I remember because I reached out to him this past spring when he got the Bronze Star, which is quite an honor in the military. And he's been on 5 deployments over the last 6 years. He's in Special Forces. He's in that group where they are on a ship somewhere and they can be anywhere in the world in 24 hours and nobody knows that they were there, and then they leave. You know, he's one of those kind of guys. He told me, he said, you know, I spent Christmas at home 1 time in the last 5 years. He goes, I've got 2 young daughters. He said, I've been deployed every Christmas, it seems to be, for the last 5 or 6 years. He was telling me that his wife had a stroke last spring. while he was when he was deployed. And they'd gone through all kinds of health issues with her. He also said that, my daughter has a heart condition that she was born with, and she's had 8 surgeries, all right? 8 surgeries in the last 5 years. She's 8 years old. And so he's telling me all this, and I'm melting in my chair. Remember, just about 15 minutes ago, I was feeling really sorry for myself and my plight. And there's Jamie comes in, he's sharing with me. He's the tip of the sword out there fighting for our country. He's had all these family issues and problems. He tells me the story that his dad died this past fall. All right, so he's over in Afghanistan, and he's in charge of 18 young men, okay? And he had done all the preparation for this ops to go across the wire. He's going to take these 18 boys over. They had an operation to do, and then he's going to bring them back. Well, his general, commanding officer, came to him and said, Colonel Moore said, I'm so sorry to have to tell you that your father's passed away. I'm going to get you on the first transport back home. Now, this is Jamie telling me the story. And he said, Coach, my first thought was that, I can't leave those 18 kids. It's my responsibility to take them across the wire and bring them back. I promised their moms that I was going to bring them back home safe and sound. And that's what I'm going to do. So he's nosed up to his commanding officer about not wanting to get on the transport, to go back and grieve with his family because he lost his dad this past fall. So again, I'm melting in my chair. He's telling me this story. I take him around the gym and the football offices, and I'm telling everybody about him and how proud I am as Bronze Star winner, and this guy's done so much for our country, and just so proud of him. And just 15 minutes ago, I was feeling so sorry for myself and my plight and what I do. I'm the luckiest guy in the world. So no matter what adversity you're going through in your life, there's always somebody out there that's got it worse than you do. And thank you for the position that I'm in. Thank you for what I've got an opportunity to do. I want to kind of turn, and you talk about the power of influence. That's the power of influence, and we all have it. We all have it. And I think God works in mysterious ways that way. He brought Jamie Moore to walk in that door to see me that day, to slap me upside the head and said, hey, you need to get yourself back in line here and get some perspective. And that did give me some perspective. I didn't see a great American like Jamie Moore coming in, a former player of mine. I'm going to talk to you players a little bit here for just a second. I talked to you about Justin Bethel being in the NFL. We've got a couple of kids that are getting looked at. We've had a lot of NFL scouts come through. They come out and see Coach Pugh all the time during the year to watch film. And they do reports on players, on college players, these NFL scouts do. And I'm going to tell you about 2 really powerful words. And is a powerful word, and but is a powerful word. In those player reports, they talk about how big and fast you are, how many touchdowns you got, how many receptions and tackles, and all those kind of things. And there's a big list of all those physical attributes that you have. And then there's notes that the scouts put on, all right, and they're talking about it. A lot of times, those ands are really, really good things. When they say, yeah, he's 6'3", and he weighs this, and he runs as fast, and he says, and he's a good person, and he does what he's supposed to do, and he is a good teammate. He's loved by his teammates. He loves his teammates. And he can be trusted, which is a big one. And he can be trusted. You think about these people that are out there that invest so much money in these guys to be able to represent their franchises. And us as college coaches, the same thing with our program. He respects everyone. And he does the right thing all the time, every time, even when it's difficult. And, powerful word. I want a bunch of and guys. But at the end of those NFL scouting reports, they have but, and usually it kind of goes downhill from there. But he can't be trusted. But he's got this arrest on his record. But. So make sure that you guys are and guys. I've got a bunch of and guys on my team. All right? That's why we've been able to have a little bit of success here at the early part of the year. Because they're and guys, they're not but guys. At the end of the day, if you guys haven't heard anything that I've said up to this point, I want you to listen to this. You guys need to be a good decision maker, and you need to surround yourself with good, positive people. And I think all these coaches in here tell you the same thing. Being a good decision maker sometimes isn't the most popular thing to do. It's not very popular at times. You want to be one of those guys in school that your teachers and your administrators say, you know what? he makes our school better. He brings value to our school. You don't want to be one of those guys that just kind of, they're waiting to kick you out the door, can't get you across the stage fast enough. You don't want to be one of those guys. You don't. You want to be those guys that bring value to your school. And being a good decision maker. Because you guys are faced with a lot of tough decisions out there. This is a scary time. I've got 3 teenagers in my house. I've got a 16-year-old daughter. You don't need to pray for me. Lord have mercy. And I got another one coming. But you need to be a good decision maker. And you guys are faced with a lot of decisions. Decisions dealing with drugs and alcohol, getting behind the wheel of a car, all those things. Those are decisions. And right or wrong, consequences come with them. And you need to surround yourself with good, positive people. Because here's why. What happens is, you'll be apt to make a bad decision, to be in a bad situation. And when those decisions come, those good, positive people, you'll have a moment of weakness and you'll be apt to make a bad decision. Those good, positive people pull you up out of that situation every single time. Those scrubs, those guys that ain't got anything to lose, those guys right there, they will pull you down every single time faced with that decision. So you need to be a good decision maker. You need to surround yourself with good, positive people. There's not enough people that are out there that are like that. You guys need to be leaders. Be different. Take the path. Take the path. Take the right path. All right? Sometimes the easy decision isn't always the right decision. Sometimes it's the hard decision, the one that you got to make.